are live from Beverly Hills, LA. I'm here with the man, Mike from the Realm Gym. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about, how you came up with the idea of the Realm Gym. 44,000 square feet, this amazing gym. Probably, in my opinion, maybe the number one gym in Canada for sure. Give us some insight on this.
So, basically, I've kind of always wanted to do a gym, but it was supposed to be like a retirement plan. It wasn't supposed to be kind of a job or a career or anything like that. I just always wanted to stay busy, and that's what I thought would be a cool thing. Just like any young kid that is lifting weights, having their own gym, they thought would be cool, and I did the same. Then too, I started realizing that the industry and the whole kind of environment changing. So I started seeing, like, I don't know how old you are, but I'm turning 40 this year, and I kind of saw a shift in how people hung out, what their social environment was, and everything like that. So I kind of saw that they needed a place that they could hang out. Health and wellness is going up. And then I decided, it could make money. It could be a business. It could give people, I wanted to make a space where the younger generation and everything, and even to the older generation, everyone has a place to go that they feel like is a community. Like in Canada, we have the big box gyms, but people only go to those because they have to go to those. They don't have a choice where they want to go to this gym because it's so amazing or anything like that. So it's actually a little bit of a more in-depth story. I was actually supposed to be a franchise. So it was a company called Iron Nation. So I basically saw one of their gyms in Kelowna, and kind of got close with the owner of the Kelowna location. And he basically, started getting close with him. His gym I liked. And so I contacted the owners and paid for the franchising fee. We started getting into talks and everything like that, started to look at locations. So we had 4 or 5 buildings that kind of fell through or whatever like that, because it's a long process. People don't understand that you can't, it's hard to just, okay, I'm just going to open this up. It's not as easy as, you think. And then I started seeing a little bit more into that franchise, into that business, and started seeing money going missing here, money not being accounted for, owing this person money. This not lawsuit, but what do they call that? Where it's like you go to court, but you can't disclose it. What do they call it?
Oh, I don't.
So something like that, where you can't, like, you make an under the table kind of deal that it doesn't go public or whatever like that. So I started finding out a whole bunch of stuff like that. And I was like, I got to get out. Don't want anything at all to do with this. So I basically, they were from staying at Surrey at the time. So I'm from Calgary, so I flew down and had a meeting and just kind of tried to play it off like, okay, I want to go on my own. You guys have so much going on. You guys do your thing. Like, all I want is the franchising fee was $50,000. So I basically gave him $50,000. I was like, keep the $50,000. Okay, that's my thing for all this issues. Keep my $50,000. Then basically I
So you just gave up the 50,000.
Yeah, I just gave up the 50,000
Wow.
because as well too, I gave them 300,000 for deposits for equipment.
Wow.
So I basically gave them 300,000 and I was like, look, either give me my money back or let me deal with, because there are deposits, 50% deposits for equipment. So I was like, either let me deal with that or basically give me my money back. And to my face, of course, they're like, okay, no problem, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And then about a week later, I get a letter from their lawyer being like, you have a 3-year non-compete. You owe us $2 million in royalty payments.
Wow.
And we're keeping all your money.
Wow.
So after that, I had already signed a 10-year lease on the building as well. So if that went through, the 3-year non-compete, I wouldn't have been able to open up the gym.
Wow.
Okay. But I hired a really good lawyer. He's actually a close personal friend of mine. And we basically beat them in court like 3 times. I have got very, very, very fortunate on a few things that worked kind of my way. And then we started finding out more and more. They did this to a lot of people. Like they owe millions. They scammed millions and millions of dollars. And basically now they got all their locations shut down and they're done. Like they are done.
So this has been quite the journey.
Yes, not only building a gym, going through a lawsuit, but I am literally grateful for all of it because it like pushed me harder and it made me, just that chip on your shoulder that, okay, you want to go at me. I'm going to go 10 times harder. I'm going to build something or do something because the ultimate revenge is success to someone. So if you're successful and you have this bad situation and then you come out on top, that's the ultimate revenge. And I believe I basically did that. Yeah.
Well, I believe too, like you learn more from the hardships than the wins, right?
Yeah.
It's just the wisdom is, for Nutrabolics, we had a similar story, not in the aspect of the lawsuit, but the craziness when we first started. When we first started, actually, we ordered bottles, right, to be manufactured. And I live in British Columbia. We were going to get them made in British Columbia. And we ordered these very special bottles when we first started. And instead of shipping the products to BC, they shipped them to Colombia. And for literally a month and a half, we were trying to find these bottles. And I had the manufacturer calling me saying, "What's going on? Like, we got your money." And I was 20 years old, right? And like, I'm trying to like
thousands of dollars to you is a big deal.
Oh, like $5,000 is like a big deal. Okay. Like, like $500 was a big deal.
Yeah.
So like, so we ended up getting the bottles from Colombia, right? Bringing them in like months later, but it delayed everything. And, and obviously for us, I mean, it put a bit of a damper on the whole situation, right? Like, oh, this is going to be a lot harder than we thought, right? So I can kind of somewhat relate to that story, right? It's, especially, now that you've actually completed the gym, built the gym, and it's like world class. Like, I haven't seen the gyms that you're talking about, but I'm sure that if they're looking in, they're probably like, whoa, like. But, one of the things I wanted to talk about, which I found very interesting, is that, you built this gym with your friends, right? I mean, tell us a little bit about that.
So I basically have a construction company and I've literally been working basically with my hands my whole life. Like my dad instilled a kind of a work ethic in me that ever since I was like 15, I always had like 2 jobs or anything like that. Like I always worked. Like I had to work for everything. so I was always good at, you know, picking stuff up, figuring out, problem solving. And yeah, like we built the gym. I had this vision and this thought in my head because we everyone that saw the building couldn't they just saw a big open space, whereas I saw what it could be. You know, like with the gym, I laid everything out, like with spray paint, with, you know, move stuff around, move stuff here, saw where the changing room's going to go, saw what the gym was actually going to look like. And if you see our renderings and stuff like that, it's exactly on what was in my head and how I wanted it. Because I didn't have a designer. I had an architect. He is I've been very, very fortunate with making a lot of relationships throughout. Like I've lived in Calgary now for 20 years, basically. And I've met and I've gathered a lot of relationships that have helped and a lot of friendships that have helped. I'm very, very, very into the long-term gain, like building a relationship, then doing business or doing business with your friends. Okay. I hate this whole, you know, people sometimes you're their friend and they want it from free.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, give me this, give me this.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm the opposite until sometimes people will get offended. That's the only way I won't like, you know, pay them. If you're like, no, like if you don't accept this from me, you know, I'm going to be offended. And that's the only way I'll take anything for free or anything like that. Or I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to get you back then. You know what I mean? If you give me something for free, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you something better for free. And they don't realize that if you built those relationships in the time of need, those people will come and they will help you. So I have a lot of people that have helped me and, you know, with the gym, everything. So, so that's how I've been able to, if I didn't create those relationships and have those people around me, I don't think I would be where I am right now. So,
and when you look back, you know, working with your friends, would you have changed anything? Was there any craziness that happened? Like, did anything, like any structures break or anything that went wrong, or it was just pretty smooth from the beginning?
So the only thing what we did, but it's always about problem solving, always about figuring stuff out. So it was a big thing. I placed the washrooms on where the plumbing drains were kind of around that area. Okay. And we started digging for it. The pipe wasn't there. It was something totally different. We did like the scan x-ray and everything like that. So then I was like, shit, like this is going to be a big deal. But we ended up having to dig another 100 feet, trenching from where it was. And we figured it out, basically got it done. So I'm used to construction and construction's not smooth whatsoever. Timelines are always, you know, double what you think. Costs are always double what you think. So I was already used to that. Most people going into it, and I'll give anyone advice that's opening up a gym, and I know a lot of guys right now that are opening up gyms. If someone else as well does it for you, and you have even to people that you do know, even me, it was more than what I expected. But I know too that I probably paid half of what someone else would, because me and my friends did it, and I had favors on favors of favors. So I know a couple of people that are going through it now, and just any advice anyone trying to open up a gym is that, yeah, one, it's not as easy as people think it is, and two, it's double the time frame and double the cost.
what do you got planned for the Realm Gym? Do you have any other gyms that are opening? Give us some insight on what maybe the next, 12 to 24 months looks like.
So I wanted to keep it a little bit small. I want that special uniqueness to it. I don't want it to be uh, like all over Canada, all over the US. I want to keep it, I'd rather be the best gyms in the world than the more like not profit, but more like have more locations. I'd rather, the realm as literally the best gym in the world
Mm,
and maybe a couple off locations, but I want to keep it pretty small.
mm,
But that's not saying if the right people come around and, build the brand up, that I wouldn't do it. And right now I'm in talks right now to do one. I'll let us together announce that and do that, but it'll bring the realm to another level.
mm,
And I'm excited for that. And he's a great guy, and everyone that I've talked to and everyone knows, they know who he is.
mm,
But I'll wait. We'll wait to announce it together.
mm.
Um, but I think it'll be a good partnership.
Nice.
So
And I mean, your gym, people don't know this, but I mean, you guys have only been in business for not even a year,
yeah,
right?
we're at June 6th. We're kind of doing our 1 year anniversary big party. We kind of officially opened at the end of May. And yeah, it's been really good. Like I always knew it would do with my vision and everything like that. I knew it would do well when we opened because we in Calgary have a really good community,
Mm,
really good kind of atmosphere. Literally, the number one thing that people say is, well, I was intimidated to come to your gym, but then I come here and everyone is welcoming.
mm,
Everyone, even too, if they went to a Good Life or they went to an Anytime, they saw the exact same people
mm,
and they'd see them for whatever months and months, and no one says hi there, no one says how you doing. That I wanted to create that environment that you wanted to be in, so you're happy to be in, so you're like, hey,
mm,
how you doing, like
mm,
how's the family, how's the kids, whatever, like that. Like
mm,
I wanted that social aspect of it.
mm,
um so I feel like we did a really really good job of it, and there are a lot of key people and on the team that have helped with that. So that's the number one thing that people don't understand, because yeah, you can spend a lot of money, have cool,
mm,
flashy this, but people want to relate to people.
mm,
Okay. And like I'm in the gym literally all the time,
mm,
walking around saying hi to people.
mm,
'Cause I love it too.
mm,
I love the social aspect. I love, seeing it change people's lives, them going in there and being like, frick, you've done this for me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I just gave you did that. Okay.
mm,
You did that, but I just gave you the environment so you can succeed.
mm, mm.
So,
Yeah. One of the things I will say, and I've visited, in the 25 years almost I've been with Nutrabolics, I've
yeah,
visited gyms all over the world. And I say this, candidly, I think that your community is outstanding.
yeah, thank you.
Like I would actually say that that is a big portion of why I'm so impressed, because in such a short period of time, you've built this community. And I think maybe, in my opinion, a lot of entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
they don't focus on the community, but I think the community is what builds the brand.
Yes.
And
1000%.
what you're building with the community is honestly a benchmark that people should be paying attention to, because I'm wowed by it. And I
Thank
think
you.
it's very impressive. I mean, even for myself, I would like to know, and for other entrepreneurs, like what kind of tips could you give people, and, from your opinion, I mean, to build that type of community? Because what I see is I see just an onslaught of people posting and videos and content and realm, and it's absolutely like phenomenal. So I'd love to hear that from you.
So one of my biggest thing is there's actually a couple of things, like work ethic and the way you carry yourself. People are watching you all the time. Okay. So you got to hold yourself. I'm not saying cockiness, but you got to hold yourself at a certain standard,
Mm.
and people have to look at you. Basically, like I never drank. I drink. I've been probably drunk a handful of times in my life.
Mm.
Just because I want to. It's not even to like a. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but like a way you hold yourself. And it's not like I want. I don't know how you put this. Like just carry yourself in a way people can not look up to you, but respect you, and want to do business with you.
Mm.
Because like I said, you don't know who's watching. And same with the work ethic. You want, if you're even to it like a desk clerk or you're like a janitor or anything like that, you never know who's watching. A CEO from this company, could see you and see, you could be a janitor at a thing, and he could be like, that guy's a hard worker. I'm going to give him a shot. You got to use everything as an opportunity. And being at not a certain level, but at where I am now, I've always been huge into treating everyone the exact same, as if you're like anyone. Like if you're make it, let's go 10 grand a year. I'll still treat you the same as if you made $100 million, $200 million. I don't care. If I can hold the conversation and you're a good person, I'll sit there for hours and talk to you. If we have the same kind of interests or anything like that. Like I don't care. Like even to all the people know at the gym, like we sit down and have conversations. Doesn't matter your occupation, doesn't matter anything. Like because as well, you don't know where that person is going to be in 5 years, and it's creating those relationships and creating those, like those relationships that help you down the road. Because too many people now think of how can I make a quick buck? How can I, make as much money as possible at the start, to how can this help me for down the road? Okay. Because down the road is what matters. Okay. If you get an extra right now, let's go $10,000. Is that really going to change your life?
No.
So it's okay. But if that you save that $10,000 and it makes you $1 million down the road, why wouldn't you take that? Most people would take the money right away. And I'm the total opposite, looking into the kind of the long term.
Tell me a little bit about, that's interesting. My drive, for example, comes from my father. My father was a very hard man. Okay. He was a hard dude. Okay.
Yes.
And, he owned a nightclub, and he put on, some huge concerts. And I think potentially, let's just say that there was some pretty rough people involved with him. Right. And I grew up with this, like, I always use this example to summarize my father in a nutshell, okay, to see how hard he was. So when I was 14, my father, I got in a fight, and he drove me to the fight, okay, with his big bouncer friend. And I finished the fight in a draw, and I had black eyes. And my father didn't say to me, "Are you okay?" He said, "Do you want to get pizza?" That's how I grew up, right? That type of like hard. There's no cuddling. There's no, "Are you okay?" Give us some insight on your story. Like, obviously, it takes some big balls to build a 44,000 square feet gym as your first gym. This is a real, like, this is somebody who's got some serious confidence. Where did this come from? How did you acquire this?
My dad wasn't as quite as hard as your dad, but he wasn't like a coddling, like, Um, Probably the same thing, as dads and stuff get older, they get a little bit more softer, and I think the mother gets a little bit harder.
Mm,
um, but my dad was, he was a very, like, not a little bit workaholic, but they were pretty simple people.
mm,
So I basically got my work ethic from my dad because I'd always see him working, and he was as well. They left Czech during the whole communism stuff
mm,
era and stuff, and so my dad as well was a gunsmith, hunter, machinist, all that kind of stuff. So I grew up very, like, kind of outdoorsy, hunting, shooting,
mm,
all that kind of stuff. Um, then to, yeah, I same thing, kind of gotten into a little bit of the dark side a little bit, with the whole, it was a long, long time ago. I'm not going to say I'm proud of it or anything like that. It taught me a lot. But yeah, I got a lot of my business aspects and how to do business and everything from, honestly, that kind of whole dark side of it.
mm,
Um, I was very fortunate. I got out, um, even though too I did as well have a massive investigation on me. But I was always like, when your time is done, your time is done. Okay, there's only two ways out in that lifestyle: is either you end up in jail or you end up dead.
mm,
Those are the two things. There's no this, even two in the movies. If you look in the movies,
mm,
Scarface, he dies. You know what I mean?
mm,
Blow, he gets caught. So it's not something you basically can do. And when your time is up, and you got to make a choice. So either those two or you get out. Like, I lost a lot and I just gave everything up. And this is where I'm probably a little bit different from people, is that if I have to start over, I will be fine. Like, I gave up. I lived at 20, 21 in a multi-million dollar house. I had a whole bunch of cars.
mm,
And then once I had all that happen, I just gave everything up. I lived in my ex-girlfriend's mom's basement,
mm,
just to start over,
mm,
start anything, and be like, okay,
mm,
you guys do what you want. You're not
mm,
going to get anything.
mm,
So that's kind of how I started. And I was like, okay, when your time is done, your time's done,
mm,
you know?
mm.
So
Was there a book or something that helped shape your mentality for this type of legit business that's been really instrumental for you?
So it wasn't like, I'll be honest, I hate reading.
Mm,
I'm not, I can't pick up a book. It was the life experiences and just the thought process of that whole, okay, the long term
mm,
thing. Okay, how is this going to help me long term?
mm,
That was always my thought process. Okay, if I do this, where's it going to take me? Is it going to take me here, here, here? Okay, if it takes me here, then I got to go here. Like, a
mm,
full kind of scale on
mm,
how stuff's going to go.
mm,
So that's kind of how my brain kind of thinks and tries to go to the next kind of steps and everything like
mm.
that.
And as you built this success,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, has your circle gotten smaller? Have you
No. So I have close friends. Like, I've been, like I said, very, very fortunate, and to a lot of people know um that I've got, there's always those people that you have that are, you're just social friends, and then you have your friends.
Mm,
I have, I've been very, very, very fortunate that I have those friends that, they say you have two types of friends that you don't call after 8,
mm,
and then you have your friends that you can call at 2 in the morning and they'll pick up, and whatever, what do you need?
mm,
Okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
mm.
Like, kind of. And I've been very, very, very fortunate that I have quite a few of those.
That's
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
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 And I mean, obviously we met because, you know, you use Nutrabolics and, you know, you reached out and you
Yeah.
said, hey, you know, I'm using your product. And then we
Yeah.
kind of connected that way.
Yeah, and too as well because of another good like friend like Mike Van Wyck and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and he's as well helped me out with a few things, and that's another guy that's been, you know, really really solid. He's even one of the guys that basically got me my partnership with one of the distribution companies for Panada and stuff like that. So that's what I mean by certain kind of relationships you have that it's like, okay, this leads to you to this, to this, to this.
Mhm.
So
I know you're a big HydroPure fan.
yeah.
So
Yes.
I brought you this HydroPure chocolate
Thank you.
strawberry. I want to have you give it a
Yeah.
try, see what you think.
Yeah, like literally you don't taste any of the granules or anything like that, and it's really smooth. And you
1 to
get that
10
hint. It's a 10. It's a 10.
was a smash out of the park.
Yes, smash out of the park on this one.
Oh.
It just gives a hint, like you taste the little bit of strawberry. It's not too strong, but yeah, it's there.
Good. Appreciate it. Yeah. No. And I brought you these gifts. I brought you some. I mean, you can't come to Hollywood and not
I
be
know.
driving
Thank
around
you.
with some anabolic state in
Thank
your
you.
car. And some of this legacy for when you hit the
Supernova.
gym. I don't know if have you tried either of those?
I think I have. And yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So obviously you're here in LA. You're here until Sunday.
Yep.
You got any plans?
Hit a couple gyms, just chill out. I've been going kind of hard for the last basically 2 years. Haven't really taken a break at all these next couple days, and then get back on the. I'll still be working because I have literally issues with being able to sit still for too long. But yeah, I'll just relax, maybe not answer my phone so many times and look at it so many times, but yeah, just chill out,
Nice.
kind of just get a reset.
How's the sleep been? Have you been sleeping okay?
I'm very very fortunate in that department. I literally can fall asleep on the floor, like if I lay here for a certain amount of time or whatever like that. Like I've never had a problem sleeping, so that's how I've been able to like go because even if I stay at a certain spot for, you know, a certain amount of time, I'll just fall asleep.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yes,
You're
I'm
very
very
lucky.
lucky. That's how I've been able to function, you know, like sometimes 5 hours a night or whatever if I way too busy or whatever, 4 hours, because I know the next night like I'll just catch it up or I'll take a nap or whatever like that. Like been very very fortunate in my life
Nice.
that I've been able to do that.
Did you have anything in particular that you wanted to talk about or any questions for myself before we wrap up today?
Same kind of thing as well with like you guys. Where do you see the like supplement market and stuff like that going? I was just gonna shoot the shit with you and see what you know, what do you see the next terms with supplements, what you guys are creating, what you guys the changes, because I know it's been not, you have your little bit of niches or whatever. Now it's like the, you know, the liquid glycerol, and now that's a big hit. Or like, where do you guys see everything kind of going?
I mean, I'm for us, I always have this saying like, let's double down on what's working.
Yeah.
You know, like we've obviously been around 25 years, right?
Yeah.
So we've obviously sometimes come to market a little too early, you know, so now I think for us, we're kind of expanding on things that are already working. So for example, like the HydroPure, you know, the limited flavors, different sizes. We've got some big things I can't announce, like huge things that are actually sitting in our warehouse for HydroPure, but we're actually just holding back to release it. Like we've produced it, and it's going to be, I'm of the opinion it's going to be a game changer, like literally shake the industry. And we got truckloads like that have moved into the warehouse of like I can't even release it right now, but we're going to release it very soon. And I think the HydroPure has a major focus for us because it is literally, it's unbelievable how much HydroPure is moving through
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
out there.
and
It's
it should, to be
yeah.
honest with you. Like I said, I've obviously tried a lot of different brands, a lot of different things, but yes, I can honestly say it's like my favorite protein.
Appreciate that.
So,
Yeah. And I think, for us, just building on, say, the products like the feed bar, right, which has
Yeah.
been a real food bar that's been very successful for us, and just working on new flavors, right? I think that's the big thing for us is like once we get a big winner, we want to really capitalize on it.
Mm.
So, with HydroPure, for example, if we have 14 flavors and let's say 3 sizes, that's a lot of SKUs,
Mhm.
right? That's a big
That's
impact. That's just one product,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like our strategy in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And I think, for us, what we're moving towards is trying to be at the pinnacle of innovation. So really, my business partner is amazing at, obviously formulating. He's been the key formulator for us for all this time. And I think, right now with everything that's happening, we've got some new things in the pipeline that I can't yet announce,
Yep.
but they're pretty amazing. Like it's been, I come from the school of like, let's try everybody's products. Like if we're going to enter something, and let's make sure that ours is wow. Like
Mhm.
if I have to ask you what you think of this product, it's not good enough. Like I want to hand you the product and I want you to be like, wow,
Mhm.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
So for us, I mean, that's kind of our standard, is this wow standard.
It sells itself.
Yeah.
That's what you
Yeah.
want.
We're not in a place now where it's like we want to be, having to kind
Well,
of,
and two, it's
yeah.
you see all these companies nowadays that are like the people have to sell it for them.
Mm,
Like you have the different sponsorship, and a lot of companies now are realizing that's not the way to go, because there's like, let's go with bodybuilding example. Okay, they sign this guy, they think they're going to get all these sales and stuff like that, and their product's just absolute garbage. And it, like okay, maybe you get one sale,
mm,
but you're not getting the next one.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's what I see that a lot as well in the supplement industry, like people signing these big name athletes, but then they have a shit product, and it just like, okay, yeah, his sales or him having their, or as a athlete, it might get you 1 or 2 sales, but not 3, 4, 5, 6, not that lifetime kind of client.
Well, the product's got to be good enough that people want to talk
Yeah.
about it, right? They want to talk about it. They want to share it. They want to tell their friends.
Yeah.
It's got to hit that mark, right?
Yeah.
And I think what's happening now is, there is a lot of companies out there who will enter a space, and I think that they'll underestimate kind of, what goes into building a successful product. They'll cut a corner. Maybe they'll make a product that tastes good, but it doesn't mix well. Well, that's a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Like
There's been,
you got to make a product that tastes good, mixes well, price right, packaging's good, distribution's good. Like, supply chain's a killer, right? I mean, you can lose business if you don't have stock, right? I mean, if your supply chain, if you don't have product, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. And people think that, it's all glitz and glamour, the supplement world, but like you got to have a very strong supply chain.
Yeah.
Like and you got to be able to anticipate. Before we wrap up, one of the things I obviously wanted to end with is, if you could give people out there, tips when they're facing problems, right? Obviously, you're a good problem solver.
Yeah.
One of the key things I think that you said in this podcast is, it's all about problem solving,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of people, they have maybe a hard time problem solving, or they don't have a mentor. I mean, that's one of the things I was actually going to ask you is, do you have a mentor? Is there somebody that, like, is there ever a point where you're like, you know what, like maybe I need to bounce this idea off somebody else? Because, I'm fortunate where I've got a business partner, and luckily enough, we kind of like to do 2 separate things.
Okay.
So this is very fortunate because we're in 2 different lanes, and, occasionally we get together and we bounce ideas off. I mean, obviously you being you know, from what I know, the sole founder,
Yeah.
right? It's, in my opinion, a lot harder. So what tips or what feedback can you give us on this?
I've had, and my whole team will know, I do try to get everyone's input and then take everyone's input, even to, if I could give people advice, talk about it with like your close group of friends. Cause I'll talk to that close group of friends that I said I have, and take their advice into account, but I will always go with my gut. I will be like, okay, if I do, like I told you, I'll do the kind of the spider effect where I'll be like, okay, if I do let's go example, one of my buddies, Phil gave me this advice. If I do this, what he gave me, okay, it'll go this way.
Mm.
I'm thinking this. So I'll try to take a little bit from everywhere and then make it my own.
Mm.
So, but sometimes I'll just be stubborn and I'll just go with my choice and make the final call. And usually my gut feeling, and I've been, I don't know what it is, but I've been very, very fortunate that my gut has got me a lot of good places, like that gut feeling, that heart, that kind of just that intuition has got me kind of where I am now. So, but it's as well the experience and everything that's happened in my life and evaluating every little step. I've always kind of wanted a mentor or wanted someone, but it's just never been my thing, or never been. I've always taken like kind of my own path. That's why as well, like even to the gym industry, I see it kind of moving in the way that I'm doing it, and I see it and I can help with that. And I know I'm going to be, like you said, with Nutrabolics being an innovator, I feel like with the gym industry, I am going to be an innovator, because you see literally the low end gyms, which Planet Fitness is, Fit for like all those kind of gyms that are on the low market. Then all of a sudden you have, okay, a Good Life, but it's like a commercial gym, which is kind of a little bit in between. But then you have those really nice like Equinox gyms and whatever, those country clubs. But those are only, let's go example, not elite, but like, to be honest with you, I don't mesh with that. You need that somewhere kind of in between. Just like as well, same thing with like houses. You have your low end houses and your high end houses, but I want to be in the gym industry somewhere that in between, that offer really good finishing but at a good price. And the ability to do, like I said, I'll be building the spa, we'll have the tanning, there'll be upgrades and stuff like that, but I want to provide that top tier service at that mid-range price. So yeah, that's
nice. Did you have any final words or tips or anything you want to share before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on
Thank
Perform,
you.
man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.